and welcome to another Mordian Glory Bolt Action Battle Report.
In today's episode, we find the German army desperately trying to hold back the oncoming Soviet horde. It is 1945. It is the battle for the Seelow Heights. I will be in command of the German forces, but joining me today, not for the first time, but for the first time in a while, is my partner in crime, Commissar Alex. He will be commanding the Soviet forces today. I'm genuinely intimidated. Oh my god, why did I give him a Makarov? So Alex, this is you did a Warhammer 40k battle report with me a long time ago. 9th edition, was it?
I think it was 8th edition, and I also had 3 massive tanks with me.
Oh yeah, you've done that again today, haven't you?
Yeah, just a bit.
How many tanks do you have, Alex?
Only 3.
What tanks are they?
IS-2s.
Oh god! Oh my days. So Alex, I think we've done a couple of battle reports together, but this is the first time that we've done a bolt action one. You are very much my bolt action Erebus, because I wasn't really going to get into the game, and you're like, go on man, we'll give it a go, we'll try it out. And then those early 500-point battles, your Brits versus my Japanese, from that point on, I was absolutely hooked. But we're not doing Burma today. We are doing almost Berlin. Oh, not quite. Almost Berlin today. And it should be a pretty good game. I am somewhat vexed, Alex, because I only have 1,000 points of Germans. How many points do you have of Soviets?
2,000 points.
Why do you get so many more points than me?
Well, you know, quantity has a quality of its own, Tim.
Well, we're playing a narrative game today, viewers. So it's going to be quite interesting because there's lots of special rules and there's lots of extra bits to take into account. You know what? Why don't we head over to the mission today and take people through what we're going to be doing? So we are playing Scenario 11, the Seelow Heights, and this is from the Road to Berlin campaign books. I want to say a big thank you to Alex for bringing this down today, because I actually haven't got this one, and I think it's got some really, really good scenarios in it. So Scenario 11, it is dawn on April 16, and the Soviets are going to try and break through the last line of defense before they get to Berlin. And the whole vibe is the Germans are just trying to stop them. They're just trying everything they can. Everyone is just being slung into the defence to try and stop the Soviets before they break through to the German capital. We've both used the appropriate theatres here. So I have built my army using a Forlorn Hope platoon, and Alex, you have taken a couple of platoons from the Seelow Heights theatre. In terms of the points discrepancy, the Germans, there's no like fixed amount of points or specific units you have to take. I actually really like that about this scenario. When Alex and I were looking at what missions we could do together, we were looking at some of them and they were really like prescriptive on what you had to take. But this particular mission was just go nuts. Yeah. The only stipulation is for every point the German player gets, the Soviets get 3.
Yeah.
Well, we've toned that down a little bit because we looked at what like a 3,000 point Soviet army looked like, and we were like, yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. So what we've done is we've gone for 2,000 points, but if the Soviets do start struggling and it seems like actually they need that extra 1,000 points, we can happily send in a third wave if we need to. So we've gone for 1,000 points for the Germans, 2,000 points for the Soviets with a potential extra 1,000 if we need it. The thing is, the Germans do get some extra defences, so we've been able to set up 3 barricades here and a bunker, and we've been able to set up 2 bunkers and 3 more barricades there, giving us lots and lots of heavy cover. In terms of the setup, there's this really cool map that we get to do. So the Germans have actually got 2 deployment zones, 2 defence lines, and all of our units need to go in these 2. And we have to put half our units in one and half our units in the other. So because I've got 10 dice, I put 5 on the first defence line, 5 on the second defence line. Don't worry, guys. I'll take you through exactly what's manning each defence line in but a moment. Regarding the sort of special rules, your guys are low on supplies.
Look. Some of those supplies have had to come a long way from the United States. All those tins of Spam, all that, Texas oil,
that's
it's
true.
Come a long way.
So because of the extremely ironically long logistic lines that the Soviets are now suffering from, I think there is rules for basically after you've moved and shot, you roll a dice, and if you roll a 1, you're either out of fuel or you're out of ammo, or both if you're a vehicle. So we'll get to that as it occurs, but it's just to let you guys know that the Soviets do have a bit of a disadvantage, which is that they might run out of fuel and ammo. But Warlord gives you the option to be like, if you run out of ammo, that's it, that unit's just out. Or they say, to make it a bit less punishing, a unit can just choose to go down, and at that point, basically, they scavenge some ammo, or they take the time to refuel the tank, basically. So we're operating under that. We're not having Soviet tanks run around with no ammo and no fuel. Because at that point, I think we would give you the extra 1,000 points straight off the bat.
Yeah.
Now, the mission, as you can see, there's lots and lots of special bits here. We've got Dawn Assault, so a lot of the mission is going to be actually using night fighting rules, which will be cool. There's prep bombardments, all that kind of stuff. But the main thing is the main victory point, which is, I think, the main takeaway, is the Soviets need to capture the bunkers. I have to put 1 bunker on each defense line, and then the third one I can kind of put where I want. So naturally, I put it on my second defense line to make it a little bit more difficult for the Soviets. I mean, that's just...
Makes sense.
That just makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of victory, if the Soviets just take 1 bunker, or if they take this bunker, for example, then it's actually a loss. 1 to 0 bunkers is not enough.
Yep.
The Soviets need to take 2 bunkers for it to be a draw.
Yeah.
And then they need to take 3 bunkers for it to be a victory. So the Soviets have got double the points, but they've got a big mission ahead of them. And the Germans basically just need to try and just hold the line.
Yeah. One more thing. So remember, the Soviets are attacking into unknown territory, and the Germans have actually flooded some of the fields.
And we've got the good maps and everything, is how it describes
exactly.
it. So does that means you're in rough ground all the time?
Across the whole battlefield, yeah.
Across the whole battlefield, and I'm not, basically.
Yeah, so that doesn't give me cover, just to clarify. It's just, so my infantry are always slogging. Even at a run, they're only going to go in 6 inches.
And at advance, are going like 3 inches? We'll check it. Yeah,
it's limited.
It's limited. But there is 10 turns.
Potentially 11 turns, Tim, so it's going to be...
Potentially 11 turns!
So it's going to be a battle of endurance for both of our armies and for both of us.
Yes, indeed. Now, small side note here, because it is a potentially 10 or 11 turn game, what we are going to do is do this as a summary battle report. So we'll basically do the majority of a turn off camera, and then we'll take you through what has happened each turn. And if there are some cool critical dice rolls, like with an IS-2 firing or Flak 88 firing, we'll capture those. But if we captured every minute dice roll in this battle rep, I think it would be potentially a 5 or 6 hour long battle report.
Yeah, that's a whole series.
I mean, it's like 2 hours to do like a 5-turn battle rep. So, and that would get exponentially bigger with the point sizes involved and everything. So yeah, for your ease of viewing, viewers, we are going to have it as a mostly summary battle rep today. But with all of that said, let's get some dice together and dive into the first turn. So here we are. Start of the battle. On the first defense line, there's a regular German MMG team poking out of the bunker, ready to scythe down some approaching Soviet conscripts. We've also got the bulk of our regular infantry on the front line as well, with 2 units of grenadiers. Both of these grenadier units have got STGs in them. There's like 3 or 4 guys STGs. There's also a cheeky Panzerfaust. Every unit in the army has a Panzerfaust. Just the one though. They're making sure they've got AT spread out, but they haven't got enough to really max it out in any one area. I thought that was kind of cool narrative moment there. Also, little known thing, none of my squads are full strength because this is late war.
Yeah,
so I made sure none of them were full strength because they wouldn't be. And we've also got our Panzer IV here, supported by our officer. These regulars, the reason I put them on the front is because they've got the shorter range weapons, and also I'm hoping that they'll be able to take the initial shock of the Soviet assault, and the tank's hidden behind this dense terrain, so when that first IS-2 turns up, it can come around the side and hopefully give them the beans. On the flank here, we've got a spotter for the mortar, and speaking of the mortar, this is on the second defense line in the second bunker, and then we've got the other infantry. Yes. The Luftwaffe field divisions.
Infantry in quotation marks.
Infantry. So this is late war. This is Forlorn Hope detachment. So yeah, you only get 2 squads of regulars, and then everything after that is poo. Absolutely poo. So we've got 3 units of Luftwaffe field division. There were things like sort of Strafbat and there were some like penal battalions and all that kind of stuff. But I just thought, considering that I was taking a Flak 88, that it would be cooler to have the first line manned by, like, you know, the Wehrmacht, by the regular German army, and the second line to be manned by the Luftwaffe. They've got no any planes left, but they have got Flak 88 and they have got some infantry. So we've got 3 Luftwaffe field divisions units, each one with a sergeant with an SMG, a man with a rifle and a Panzerfaust, and then an LMG, and everyone else has got rifles. We've got 2 squads of those, which are 8 man strong. We've got 1 squad of those, which is 7 man strong. And of course, we've got the Flak 88. Really, this guy's going to have to do some serious heavy lifting against the, and I don't think I've ever said this in Bot Action before, IS-2 spam. So that is the deployment for the Germans. The Soviets, you're off the board. You put everything into first wave, no reserves today?
Everything to first wave, but there's going to be some preparatory bombardment coming your way, isn't there, Tim?
Is there? Okay, well, prep away. Prep away. Should we do this on camera whilst we're here?
We'll do it off camera, because it'll just be
Oh, it's a load of pins, it's just loads of pins. So is it just a normal prep bombardment?
Yeah.
Okay, so on a 2+, you get it, or is it always guaranteed in this mission?
It's always guaranteed for me,
So
because I get +1 to it.
So you're guaranteed to get the prep bombardment, and it's following the usual prep bombardment rules. So what we'll do is we'll do that. We'll sort a few dice out off camera, and we'll come back with some exciting moments mid-turn, or at the end of the turn with a summary of what has happened. Let's see if the Germans can hold against the first wave. All right, we are back halfway through turn 1. There has been a huge wave of Soviets, but they've not been screaming, "Hoorah!" They have been sneaky Soviets.
Hoorah in lowercase.
Yeah, "Hoorah," all lowercase, just like "Hoorah, hoorah." So essentially, Alex has been very clever, and he has advanced his units on, but he hasn't shot them. Because if he shoots them, not only is there a risk that he runs out of ammo on that unit, slowing them down, but there's also a risk that because of night fighting, I'll be able to see them. And I actually got kind of lucky. I was able to put a couple of units on ambush early on, which meant that all he would have done is basically revealed his position, and then I would have got to shoot you as well. And so it wouldn't have been good. So all the initial Soviet dice were infantry, all sneaking up. No shots fired. I tried to use my ambush a couple of times, but because I didn't get the distance to see them, we just said the ambush just didn't go off. They keep the ambush dice, but they just didn't go off. Then we got to the tanks. The first IS-2 with tank riders rumbled onto the board. My machine gun team triggered its ambush. They couldn't damage the tank, but they could force the Soviet tank riders to disembark and put a pin on them, which is kind of useful because obviously we don't want them to be able to start charging in and assaulting the bunker. So hopefully we slowed them down a little bit there. And then the IS-2 itself fired at the bunker. It could easily see it because of the fire dice and the muzzle flash from the MG team, and it got a hit. But unfortunately, units and bunkers are really, 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 really durable. So Alex didn't get enough damage to actually damage the bunker. Didn't get high enough dice roll, and then when it came to doing the number of pins, he only got 1 extra pin. So clearly, Stalin has ordered double shell production overnight, and so the factories just put half the powder in.
Exactly.
But now we have a very important dice roll. We need to find out if this IS-2 runs out of fuel and runs out of ammo. So Alex, which one do you want to roll for first?
I roll for fuel first.
So it's on a 1.
On a roll of a 1, it's run out of fuel.
It has not run out of fuel.
Okay.
Roll of a 1, it's going to run out of ammo. No!
It's got 6.
It's got plenty of ammo. It's going to be turret tossing before we know it.
Yeah,
So that's sort of where we are at the halfway point. We'll be back with the end of turn 1, and we'll see if there's any more action. All right, and here we are at the end of turn 1. The full might of the Soviet Union is on display, and the Germans are already under incredible pressure. After the first IS-2 moved on to the board, the second one followed up. The tank riders are still on top of that tank, and it has not run out of fuel. The other thing we need to do is see if this guy ran out of fuel.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Because he's driven on here, he triggered their ambush, that forced the tank riders to disembark here, which was very useful, because otherwise they would have disembarked here and started doing horrible things to me. But the tank itself ran on, got to there, tank riders are forced to disembark there from the ambush, and now we need to see if he is going to run out of fuel. No, he's okay. He's okay. Now you might be wondering why there's some pin markers on the Germans, considering that the Soviets didn't do very much shooting. It was because of the prep bombardment. So these guys took 1 pin, failed their 1 pin order. Actually, FUBAR, they were the first dice I had out of the bag, and they just basically moved 6 inches back and then bumped into what was the officer in the tank when they were there. Then they went down, but they kept their pin. That's a big deal, because if they hadn't been there, if they'd been on ambush like I wanted them to, that could have forced Alex to be a lot more conservative with his armor. And then obviously we got a pin here, but they passed the. They had 2 pins, but they passed their ambush rolls. That's why they only got 1. Similar of them, so they've taken an extra pin from shooting. These guys had failed their 1 pin order and went down. They were to go on ambush. They just went on ambush. They passed the pin test. They passed the rally. And the mortar team failed its rally and ended up staying down. So that is essentially the effects of the prep bombardment and all of the shooting and fighting that has happened. There's been a few pins thrown onto some Soviet tank riders. And yeah, that's it. Pretty quiet turn 1. I think it's going to heat up in turn 2 because, well, it very well may go from night to day.
Yeah.
So we'll be back partway through turn 2.
Yeah.
So I did say we're back in the middle of turn 2, but I lied. We're going to be back at the very beginning of turn 2, and we're going to find out if the sun rises on a 6-up. No, it is very dark.
Yeah.
Next turn, we'll see if the sun comes up on a 5+. Right, we'll be back in just a moment. Alex, I thought Bot Action was meant to be a serious historical game. Why has it devolved into a meme? So the first IS-2 was like, I'm going to fire. And then it couldn't quite see through the forest to shoot at the tank. So it was like, you know what, I'm just going to put everything into the infantry squad that's in front of me. And it missed everything.
I mean, you did go down in cover. So.
I did go down, but even hit on 5s, no machine gun shots, no heavy weapon shots, just didn't hit with anything. So that was unfortunate, to say the least. Then these guys went for an advance order and failed, even the veteran, their 1 pin order and went down. So cumulatively, this flank just didn't do a great job. And then we go over to the second IS-2, which moves forward and fired into the bunker. It did a mighty 2 pins, because it didn't do enough damage to get to the unit, and then proceeded to run out of fuel and run out of ammo. Oh my god, but it just means you just have to turn going down and then you'll refuel. But it is funny, if that had been, me and Alex both had like a moment, and we realised why the Soviets would have 3,000 points in this scenario if you had the out of fuel and out of ammo thing as a permanent buff.
Extra hard mode.
It's extra hard mode because we were like, oh, well, that will never happen. It's a 1 in 6. I was like, well, hang on. Alex has got, just on the tanks alone here, he's got 3 tanks. Each one, if it moves and shoots every turn, statistically, that's 6 dice rolls. 1 of those is going to be a oops out of fuel or oops out of ammo. And that's before you even take into account all the infantry. So if you had it as a permanent debuff, by turn 5, you could, halfway through the game, you could easily have a whole line of just out of fuel, tanks out of fuel, and just a load of infantry just with no ammo. It's crazy.
Do you want to know what everyone's out of ammo, Tim?
The bayonet. The bayonet. The bayonet. Now we come back at this critical juncture because I've finally got a dice, and I've gone for an advance on my tank, and he's reversed back here, pivoted, and then moved forward. I now have a point blank. I can see the IS-2 because it's fired, muzzle flash, vehicle. I've got plus 18-inch range to see, so even though it's nighttime, I can definitely see it. And now I get to shoot you.
Yep.
It's side armor, hit on a 3+.
Yeah.
Will the entire flank from both sides, absolutely beats it.
We'll see.
Yes. I knew that was going to happen. And we tried to get the machine gun over here, and I couldn't even see them because they went down. This is just everyone here lied on their CV.
Yeah.
All right, well, we've had a lot of examples of Mimi tanks. We'll be back at the end of turn 2. All right, here we are, the end of turn 2, and it's heated up.
It is.
It is heating up. Where the Panzer IV failed, the plucky grenadier with his Panzerfaust succeeded. A bottle of schnapps, the man that could take out the IS-2, was offered by the NCO, and Hans here jumped over the barricade, popped his Panzerfaust, got the hit, got the pen, set it on fire, and that meant, and the Soviets unfortunately failed their leadership check on the tank, and we even checked to see if Great Patriotic War helped you re-roll it, but it specifically says for infantry and artillery.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, no tanks. Fortunately, the tanks, they're not as patriotic.
Apparently not.
So it got set on fire, and the first IS-2 has been taken out. Unfortunately, Hans did not live to collect on his bottle of schnapps, because the Maxim was able to see him and was able to get enough hits and was able to kill one of the guys from the squad. And considering he'd already fired his Panzerfaust, I thought it was somewhat cinematic to have it as the Panzerfaust guy getting cut down. I could have picked any model, but that felt cool. Elsewhere, the Soviets continued to advance up, not shooting. I think this squad did a few peppering shots and got a pin, but that was it. Elsewhere, there wasn't much shooting. They're continuing to conserve the ammo after what happened with the IS. The only other 2 points of note was I failed trigonometry in school because I was like, well, the IS-2, 20-inch gap, surely that's 20 inches away. Didn't take into account the angle. So I couldn't, unfortunately. I went to fire my Flak 88 and it was well over 20 inches away. But elsewhere, we did have the mortar, which basically had a straight beeline to the IS-2. It was able to see it, thanks to the fact that it had moved and shot and was a vehicle. And then I was able to get a 6 to hit, which is brilliant. So I've now dialed in on that. The IS-2 crew were prescient enough to know that that shell couldn't hurt them. So they didn't take any pins, but the tank riders that were inside did take 2 pins and were forced to disembark and were forced to go down. I will get another chance to pin that IS-2 up, of course, because it is out of fuel and stuff. So Alex is probably inevitably going to be staying down with it. But that is the end of turn 2. We're about, potentially, turn 2 out of 10 out of the game. Some casualties started to be inflicted, but the Soviets are getting very, very close. And I think turn 3 is going to see the big assault on the front line. We'll have to see if the Germans can hold it, or if the front line will fall, and it will be then up to the Luftwaffe to try and hold the second line. We do have a little Luftwaffe squad. That's the officer that was here saw what was happening. He went, I'll get help. And then he spent 2 turns running over here. And then cinematically, we've said that he's told these guys to move forward, and they're going to try and occupy this bit of forest. These guys failed their 1-pin order check twice in a row, which is a bit unfortunate. But yeah, basically, Soviets are encroaching on the front line. They've lost some tanks, but I think they're going to start inflicting some heavy casualties on the Germans. But we'll have to see going into turn 3. All right, first thing we need to do is the sun rising? Will the night fighting rules come to an end? No.
Okay.
It's threatening. There's a little glow. A little glow on the horizon. So no, the sun has not come up. That means it'll be another turn of night fighting. We'll have to see if on turn 4 things start happening. All right, we're back in just a moment. Here they come! We are back partway through turn 3.
Yep.
Turn 3, wow, it's actually motoring along this game quite nicely. The Soviets are putting immense pressure on the German front line. This unit of conscripts moved forward, bolt actions firing, and were able to force the squad down, but they did not get any hits. The Germans just sticking to the mantra of, we don't need to kill the Soviets, we just need to slow them down. Over here, this unit of tank riders charged forward, hoorah! And they used their PPSHs and gunned down 3 of the Germans, despite the fact they went down and put a pin on them, but they did not break. And yeah, so that's happened over there. And then over here, this unit of tank riders unfortunately has failed their pin check. They just went straight down, which was unfortunate because they could have assaulted that machine gun bunker. It's another turn of it just being there, another turn of frustration. Yeah. And then we had the IS-2 here, which fired its gun, and its main gun was able to put 3 pins onto the MG, and the medium machine was actually able to kill one of the crewmen. But it's still going strong. The IS-2 did not run out of ammo. In fact, no one has run out of ammo yet on the Soviet side. But the only thing the Germans have done so far, apart from going down, is we did get a dice for our mortar, which we put into the IS-2. Now, me and Alex had a little bit of a discussion here, because technically it's night fighting, so would the mortar still need to, but it's dialed in, so would the mortar need to roll to sea again? What we said is, well, it doesn't make sense because the IS-2's not moved, it's still dialed in. And also, we sort of applied, well, Alex, who knows the game better than I do, says that if you lose a spotter, but you're dialed in on a unit, you can continue to fire at that unit without having to, redial
if
it.
the spotter, so there's a bit of the rules where if a spotter's killed after the weapon's zeroed in, as long as the target has stayed still, you can still keep firing at the 0 point.
Because you know that they're there.
Because you know that they're there. The spotter has called them in, even though the spotter's now dead. And it's the same kind of thing. So,
that's the logic we kind of applied. I think that there's going to be a few cases of this where it's like these wacky scenario rules don't necessarily jive with the core rules, as it were. But if you know of like an example where it is specified that you can do that specifically with night fighting, of course, let us know down in the comment section. Anyone who's played by action will be able to test the fact that the rulebook is very thorough, but not well laid out. Indeed. But we are now back. Why have we brought you back at this point? Why? Because we've got an exciting thing to show you. Panzer IV is going to try and absolutely leather these tank riders. Now, I am going to do a medium machine gun.
Yeah.
And I'm going to hit you with the AT gun because it's a heavy AT gun.
2-inch blast.
Which means it's a 2-inch blast, which means it'll actually hit quite a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
And it'll be point blank because so it's just 2+ to hit.
Yeah.
Got to go with the big gun.
Yeah.
It's not on the tray, Alex.
Oh, no.
It's not on the tray. Yes!
It's a hit.
Live by the tray, die by the tray. It is a hit. I do have a template.
I've got one.
Have you got one nearby? Alex is like, damn that rule. But we have been obeying it throughout the entire battle, so it would be churlish not to. So 2-inch, I think.
4? Unless you reckon you can.
No, I don't think I can. I think 3. Even with my absolute effort, I think I can get 4. I definitely can't get 5.
Yeah.
There's 4 there. I was thinking maybe 5 there. Oh no, there is a 5 there.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
There is a 5 because what I learned in bot action is you don't have to place it on a model. You place it at any point on the unit.
Yeah.
So you can do it in between bits. So I will go for the 5 there. So 5 dice. They are veterans.
Yep.
So this will be 3+.
3's to kill.
That is going to be 4 of them gone.
Cool. That'll be a morale check for them, depending on
number
if they survive.
Yep, number of pins, 2.
So 2.
And then I've got the MMG there as well.
That might just kill them.
Hitting on 2s. 1 miss, and then 5s being veteran. No, nothing.
So 4 die.
4 are dead. I'm pretty happy with that, to be fair.
So get rid of these ones.
These are 4 going to die. You're going to have leadership 7, and it's going to be re-rollable because it is a morale check, and they are infantry.
Yeah.
So they're okay. They've taken a beating, but they're okay. All right. Not a bad showing from the Panzer IV. Maybe it should have sized down 1 extra one there. But I'm not going to complain too much. It's fine. Taking out half of a veteran squad in one go is better than a lot of bot action tanks do.
Well, indeed.
Indeed. So we will be back at the end of turn 3. End of turn 3. Little bit of a quiet end. It was very hot in the middle with sort of assaults happening and counterfire and all that kind of stuff. But essentially, because of the Germans' master plan of going down or being in bunkers, a lot of the Soviet units have been advancing forward and have been firing and peppering away, but they've just not been able to get any more hits on the Germans. But as you can see, they are absolutely in amongst us now. Like turn 4, I think the front line folds. Even if I get the dice in like a perfect order, I think I just get overwhelmed by just waves and waves of Soviet infantry. There was a little bit of fire around here with the Soviet units trying to pour shots into the bunker, but it was to no avail. And then the machine gun team rallied and lost all of its pins. Got the big 6, so that was nice. Only other thing of note to mention is the IS-2 went down, and this means that it has now refueled and rearmed. Bit of a missed opportunity there by the German mortar crew. 2 hits, yet no sticky pins.
No.
So good work by the Soviet tank crew, knowing that they can ignore those pins. They've just got faith in this IS-2, man. Like, it's an IS-2. It's a big tank. You're going to be pretty confident if you're rocking around in one of those. But the big problem for the Germans is essentially all that happened with that IS-2 is it just missed a turn. Now, if this was a 5 or 6 turn game, that would be a big deal. But as it's a 10 to 11 turn game, really not as much of an impact as we would like. And bear in mind, whilst the infantry is slogging forward at 6 inches a turn, the tanks with their tracks, they can just go over rough ground. They can just go 18 inches. And so this front line might have taken 3 or 4 turns to fall, but it by no means the Soviets will take the same amount of time to reach over here. They could get across that rough ground very quickly if they needed to. So we'll have to see what happens as we go into turn 4. We are in turn 4 and we must see if the sun rises. Will we go from night to day? It's on a 4+. No. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for the Germans.
Yeah.
It does mean that the back defenses won't be doing much again this turn, but it also means that the Soviets are going to have to play it very carefully because they can't pound the Soviet second line. And if they start driving forward and putting shells into bunkers and stuff, A, they're going to have to try and see the bunkers, and B, if they do that, they're going to be giving the Germans lots of +6 modifiers to +6 inches to see the tanks back. So that goes either way. That I think that buys the Germans one more turn.
Yeah.
I think, and which is very, very valuable. All right, let's see what happens. We're back mid-turn, turn 4. All right, we are back in the early midpoint of the game. It has been a spicy start to turn 5, 4, turn 4. Wow, starting us off strong. Alex was like, "Soviet conscripts, go!" And they charged in, and I couldn't react because they were within point-blank range, and we had a furious fight. And the conscripts killed 5 of the grenadiers, which was just 1 below average. And in return, because we were fighting at the same time because of the barricade, the STG guys were tough fighters. They turned around, and between some point-blank shots in the face and maybe rifle burning them down, a few cheeky trench knives, they were able to kill 4 of the Soviet conscripts. Means I just needed to kill 2 more with my 3 remaining riflemen, and we got all 3 riflemen. They must have their bayonets fixed, stabbed the conscripts as they came over, and so we actually ended up winning that combat. So we'll take our casualties away now, Alex, but as you can see, it's been for the viewer, it's been this bodies sprawling everywhere. And after the initial charge of the Soviets, there is 1 lone grenadier sergeant. I don't even know if he's seen the fight. He's just busy checking his map. But there's 1 lone grenadier sergeant left. So that was really the sort of the first dice there. And then we've also had a bit of a fight here from these grenadiers. So all of the German grenadiers starting things off. And they were able to get a fire order into the tank riders. We were able to get a couple of hits with the STGs, but we were not able to get a kill. And we thought, screw it, we'll launch off the Panzerfaust. There's no more tanks over here anyway. But unfortunately, we did miss with the Panzerfaust, with the down order. So we've gone with our grenadiers there. We've forced those tank riders down. It's another turn where this flank is holding. And yeah, that's kind of like the first couple of dice. But there's one other important thing to mention. Oh, Alex, what's this? So the Germans get a couple of minefields as part of this scenario, and we sort of kept them hidden because obviously the Soviets wouldn't know where the minefields were until they started taking the first defense line. But as they have now taken that first bunker, the Germans have marked their minefields, so they know where they are. And we have two minefields. We've got one anti-personnel and one anti-tank. The ones with the crosshairs are the anti-tank mines, and the one with the sort of radar signatures, as it were, they're the anti-personnel mines. So it's going to be a little bit tricky, for the Soviets to bring their tanks over here and to try and take out this bunker. And it's going to be a little bit tricky for the Soviet infantry to come over and capture this bunker. Perhaps the tanks will go over here and the infantry over here. Maybe. But there is obviously, with these conscripts going down, there's a few less Soviet infantry on the board now. So it could be a little bit tricky. And of course, with these tank riders here, it might make it harder for them to drive over and come to this minefield here. So it'll be interesting to see how the minefields affect the game. We've never used them before on bot action. But yeah, it's been a hot turn, a hot start. We'll have to see how it ends up. We'll be back at the end of turn 4. So here we are near the very end of turn 4. It's been a pretty hot turn all round. A lot of the German units ended up just going on ambush because I'm pretty certain that the sun is going to rise next turn on a 3-up. And I really, really, really want to be in a position where the Soviets are trying to push forward into just the teeth of the guns, as it were. Over here, my tank advanced forward. It had 12 shots in point-blank range on an MMG that had already fired. 12 shots hitting on 4s. 3 hits later, no kills later, 1 pin. Bit of a joke. Yeah. I said to Out of Camera, I don't like taking this Panzer IV model because he always messes up. And it's why I prefer my Panzer III. It's just a superstitious thing, but my Panzer III's never let me down. My Panzer IV struggles a lot. But fortunately, it seemed to be that this corner of the board is just cursed because the anti-tank rifle then proceeded to roll a 1 to hit on its 2+ to hit. So there we go. At least it's bad luck all around there. This unit of guards moved up. The officer was like, send in the next wave. Moved up, and my lone grenadier went down, hiding amongst the bodies of the Russian conscripts and his fellow grenadiers. And by going down, the Soviets were unable to get any hits because it was 6 followed by 6s. So that was really unfortunate for them. So he's alive. I don't think he'll be alive for much longer, but he is alive.
We'll see.
And then the IS-2 over here, the tank riders jumped on and then it trundled forward a bit. But it didn't shoot because you didn't want to basically give me +18 to see you in the night fighting rules. The officer here, the veteran officer, moved up and he got the other tank riders to embark on this IS-2, and then that one has moved forward. We're going to come back to that in just a moment. And then, in case we forgot to mention, at the very beginning of the turn, the machine gun team that was here was assaulted by the Russian Guard infantry, and they lost 1 man, but they did successfully take the bunker. So the Soviets have got 1 bunker under their control now, and then we had a unit of Guard infantry clamber over that barricade as well. So the front, the actual important bit of the first line is gone. There is a bit of fighting over here still, but none of this is really important to the overall mission. So it's not the end of the world. But the big thing is the IS-2 moving forward, because the Flak 88 was on ambush, and we've triggered the ambush, and we rolled the dice, and we could see 19 inches, and that was just enough to be able to see the IS-2 and pop a shot at it. And because the IS-2 is not more than 50% obscured by the cornfields, it means that it's just a straight shot. It's a 3-up to hit.
3s to hit.
3s to hit. No reroll or anything like that. And then it will be a 3 to do any damage. Because strength, pen +7 versus armor 10. So let's see if the Luftwaffe field crew
See what they do.
can get their hit. Yes, they've got the hit.
That's all you need.
So the tank riders are going to bail.
Yeah, we'll sort them out in a second.
And then we need to see if we can do some damage to the armor. It's a glance.
Okay.
Just a glance.
Superficial damage.
Okay, so
See how superficial.
let's see how superficial indeed. That will be immobilized.
It's immobilized. Okay.
Not a bad result.
Not bad.
I will absolutely take that result. So you've been immobilized, and the crew and the tank riders will bail out. I'm going to presume you're not going to bail out into the minefield.
No, I'm not going to bail out into minefield. That's insanity.
All right, so that's not. I think that's like
Make it out and go.
not as bad as it could have been for the Soviets. It's not ideal, but losing the IS-2 would have been a lot worse, especially after getting that hit. So
100%.
I think it's kind of. I wish I'd blown it up. You wish that nothing had happened. Straight down the middle, a cheeky immobilized tank. It's not too shabby. You will take an extra pin though. I think you take an extra pin and you're immobilized, but we'll just double check the damage table. So we'll disembowel the tank riders, double check the damage table for this, and then we'll be back at the beginning of turn 5. Turn number 5. Does the sun come up on a 3+? It does. Ooh, I don't know if that's good or bad for me. I was quite enjoying the night fighting. All right. Well, that was the sun is now shining in the sky. The sun has got his hat on. Let's see what happens. We'll be back at the midpoint of turn 5. They invade our land, killing hundreds of our people. They destroy our cities, reducing everything we have worked for to dust. The line must be drawn here, no further. It's been a spicy turn 5. Whoa.
It's not even over yet.
It's not even over yet. This is just the midpoint. Just the midpoint. Germans got one of the early dice. Moved the Panzer IV over here. Used the machine gun to gun down the AT rifle. And then put a shot through the side of the IS-2. Needing a 4 to hit, we got the 4. We then needed to penetrate the armor. And we got a double pen. We got a 6 to hit. We rolled the dice and we got an on fire, and then we got a destroyed. But the destroyed wasn't in the tray. Live by the tray, die by the tray. Re-rolled it, and it was a stunned. Putting in total 3 pins on this unit, setting it on fire. But Alex did pass his morale check, and so the IS-2 is still going. But it's not happy. It's been knocked out of for the turn. It's been not knocked out. It's been taken out for the turn. And then the tank riders also got taken out for the turn as well, forcing them to go down. So close to destroying the IS-2, but holding it back for a turn is pretty tasty. But on the other hand, oh dear, not like this. Not like this.
It's not operational anymore.
It's not operational. After getting turret jammed and immobilized by the Flak 88, the Germans then got another dice, despite the fact that the Soviets had incredible dice disparity over the Germans. We got another dice. We got the hit. We got the pen. And just a straight up 4 to hit, straight up 4 to pen. And then we rolled the dice to destroy it, and we rolled another 4. It was just 4, 4, 4. And knocking out the second IS-2. That is 2 IS-2s down now, and one quite upset. Although it's only like one rally away from being okay. So this has definitely been a bit of a battering for the Soviets so far. In return, they spitefully charged the one grenadier that was there. He didn't get, even though they fight at the same time, my grenadier didn't get any hits. He was still hiding under the bodies of his comrades, and then they did butcher him. So that is a dice out of the bag for me, a dice out of the bag for the Soviets, 2 dice out of the bag for the Soviets. It's definitely heating up. I feel like the IS-2s are going to help the Soviets get up to the halfway point, but I think it's going to be the infantry that's going to have to slog it the rest of the way. That might seem like the Soviets are struggling right now, but remember, all of my infantry on this back line are inexperienced. They're green, so they might uprate to regular, but right now they're inexperienced. So if the Soviets can slog up there, try and weather the hail of relatively inaccurate fire, all they need to do to get the draw for the game is to charge that mortar team, conquer that bunker, and do the same over here. So if they go for it, I think that it's still very much to play for the Soviets. But it's only turn 5. There's still at least 5 more turns to go.
Maybe 6.
Maybe 6 more turns.
Oh,
so I think that's probably the big bits of turn 5, but we'll come back at the end and we'll see what the Soviet infantry horde can do. All right, we are at the end of turn 5. The Soviet infantry wave is starting to slog through the mid-board, and they're doing a good job. They're getting far up the map, doing so in the face of furious ambushes from the Luftwaffe field divisions. This squad here triggered an ambush against this unit of guards back here and was able to get a pin on them. Unfortunately, due to their inexperience, the LMG of this squad was not able to get any hits on the tank riders. I got 3 5s. If he hadn't been experienced, he would have got those hits. Just goes to show how big the that extra -1 hit modifier can be in this game. Looking over the map at this midpoint, the Soviet armor is definitely suffering the worst of it. But the Soviet infantry have taken not too many casualties, maybe a dozen, maybe it's over a dozen. So it is going to be interesting to see what they can do. Of course, Soviet infantry can only advance over this terrain. So whilst they're close here, we know just because of ranges and shooting each other, we know there's at least these guys are over 12 inches away. These guys are over 18 inches away. So there's at least 2 to 3 more turns of the Soviet infantry moving up the board and shooting before they actually get the opportunity to try and take out these bunkers. So it's going to come down to the wire. If it's turn 5 now, and these guys will need 2 turns to move up and then a 3rd turn to make the assault. These guys will need 4 turns. It's not going to be until sort of turn 8, turn 9 when the Soviet infantry is going to make it to this defense line, and that might give them just enough time, the nick of time to start capturing things. Turn 8, turn 9, and maybe they can get the draw, and maybe there's a lot of veterans here. I'm inexperienced. Maybe they could even get the win. A lot of Soviet tanks have been destroyed, but just whilst we've been filming this battle, another 1,000 have been made.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
So we'll have to see. But this is the midpoint of the game. Let's see what happens as we go into the final stages. All right, so that was turn 6. Just a quick summary of the turn. Everything on the Soviet front pushed forward. I was hoping if the smattering of pins that I had managed to apply to the army would slow them down. The infamous 1-pin order test. But no. With the fear of Joseph Stalin's moustache behind them, they very much pushed on. So starting off over on the flank over here, the unit of tank riders was forced to go down when the Flak 88 targeted them. Alex did and ah about it, thinking, should he go down and it put me on a 6 to hit or stay up and a 4 to hit. Considering that if he had stayed up, it would have been a 4 to hit, and I could have hit pretty much the entire squad with the big pen weapon, which meant even though the veterans would have been killing on 2s, he made the wise decision to go down, and as a result, I just missed.
Yep.
Big old miss. But I have slowed him.
Yeah.
Every turn that the Flak 88 can just force the unit to go down is a turn. Is a turn that is doing a good job. Unfortunately, the guard infantry here then did manage to go before I got to fire my mortar off, which meant that I wasn't dialing in. They passed their order test, moved forward, and they were able to kill a Luftwaffe guy. The squad did not uprate, but they did take a pin and a casualty. In return, though, they were able to pass the order test, turn around, and the MG actually, I think, cut down, is it 2 from that squad, maybe?
Yeah, 2.
Yeah, 1 or 2 from that squad. So it's quite an equal exchange of fire, considering my guys are inexperienced, but equal exchange of fire are not going to do it because they are massively outnumbered by the Soviet infantry. Over here, we had a fire order go off from this unit here with its MG34, managing to successfully cut down an infantryman or 2 from this squad of Soviets. The Soviets squads here were pushing forward, trying to get pins on the Luftwaffe, but unfortunately they weren't able to do it. So we got the better of it over here on this flank. Unfortunately, the last of the true grenadiers have gone down. The tank riders, who have kind of been making a bit of a fool of themselves at the beginning of the game, definitely pulled the finger out now, rallying successfully the last turn and then passing their Tiger Fear check this turn, charging in, and my grenadiers didn't even get a single kill, fighting at the same time with the fighter just not even close. And interestingly, the tank riders killed 1 grenadier, but that's all they needed to kill in order to win the combat. So yeah, they have broken through there, and now it truly is down to the Luftwaffe field divisions. That's it. We've got a little bit of the Panzer Corps here, but unfortunately, despite the fact that he got a fantastic flank shot and a hit on the IS-2, he ordered 1 to pen. And then the IS-2 was the last unit in the Soviet repertoire to go, and of course, it rallied off its 4 pins, and that has gone from being an IS-2 that was out of the game to very much in the game. And there's a good chance that if Alex gets that first dice, he'll be able to use the officer to snap to the IS-2, get past it, slow load rule. And we might see the Panzer IV here in a bit of a struggle. You know, the IS-2 here, it can't really fire forwards because of all the infantry in the way, so it might just have 1 target. Last thing to mention, my mortar was one of my last things to go, and it's dialing in here. I'm hoping that this unit will fail its 1 pin order test, and I'll be able to dial in and start hitting them. Really, for the Germans though, it's getting very risky with this amount of infantry up here. I'm going to need a few early dice. I'm going to need a few early pins. I need to hope that I can hold the Soviets back, but it's going to be despite the amazing work that the Germans have been doing, knocking out a lot of the Russian tanks and holding them back. It looks like the Soviet infantry is going to put immense pressure on the second defense line. We'll have to see what happens going into turn 7. This game is coming down to the wire. It hangs on a knife edge. This was a big turn. This was the turn that the Soviet Union ran out of ammo. Yeah. So, starting off on the flank, the Flak 88 unleashed hell onto the tank rider squad. This time Alex elected to stay up, and unfortunately that allowed me to get the hit, and 6 out of 8 tank riders just disappeared in an inferno. The final 2, with support from their officer, even with 3 pins on them, did come screaming out of the fire and flames, charging forward, hoping to get vengeance on the Luftwaffe that just killed the majority of their comrades. But that squad has been badly mauled. On the other side, though, the guard unit just has been kind of having a bit of a leisurely time, advancing forward, putting a few shots off, having a good time. Unfortunately, the Luftwaffe Field Division failed their order test to ambush them. If they'd done so, it might have allowed us to cut some of them down as they emerge out of the cornfield. But now these guys are really going to need the dice next turn, the first dice. Otherwise, they may find that that bunker is lost to the Soviets. But there is also this bunker, which is coming under immense pressure. Another unit of Soviet tank hunters. For every unit that the Germans send back to the motherland in pieces, another unit steps forward and takes their place. It really feels like I'm trying to hold back the tide with my hands at this point. But the Flak 88, whilst it covered over here, did get some supporting fire from a mortar round, potentially the last mortar round of the game, and it came in here and flattened this unit, killing 4 of them. And they also ran out of ammo. So this unit's run out of ammo. And then there's a lot of advancing across the line. We then had a bit of a travesty. I decided to stay up from these Soviets that came in and shot my Luftwaffe Field Division point blank in the face. They should have really survived. As it turned out, they all died. Benefit of hindsight, maybe I should have just kept them back and used them to reinforce the line, but I was kind of hoping that they'd move forward and start being able to get some ambushes and get some pins on the advanced Soviets, but they were just brushed aside as if they were matchsticks. But in the process of absolutely butchering the Luftwaffe Field Division, these Soviets also ran out of ammo. We then had the IS-2. The IS-2, it reversed, it lined up its big gun onto the Panzer IV and got a big fat miss, and then ran out of ammo. So we've had 3 Soviet units run out of ammo, and that could be quite clutch, because it means that now they won't be able to advance forward and put pins as easily onto the Germans, which might mean that they start taking a little bit more incoming fire, and at this key stage in the game, that might make all of the difference. In return, my Panzer IV decided that this IS-2 wasn't really going to be a problem for the next couple of turns, between obviously having to reload and stuff. So I ended up reversing, and I went for a cheeky maneuver. I decided I was going to put my my heavy AT gun into this squad here. I needed a 5, but if I got it off, it would have been a 2-inch blast, and I could have probably picked up 4 or 5 of them. But unfortunately, I just missed.
Sometimes you just miss.
Sometimes you just miss. I needed a 5, but I was kind of hoping I'd get lucky, but as it was, I didn't. Good news is, though, Tiger Fear is now affecting all of these units. So that could help slow down the Soviet advance. That is turn 7. Big turn all round. It's getting very, very, very dicey for the Germans. Will they be able to cling on to the end of the game, or will the numbers of the Soviets start telling? Let's find out in turn 8. End of turn 8, and it is utter death, destruction, and carnage. It is war! Sublime war! There can be no peace! Starting off with the flank, as is tradition. The Soviet Guard unit fixed bayonets, equipped bayonets, and charged into the bunker. The mortar team, surprisingly not trained for close combat, did absolutely no wounds to nothing, not even a token kill to show effort. And unfortunately, they were massacred. Even Alex didn't just roll 1 kill. He rolled 6 kills. They were just gone.
Double over.
And now that means that this bunker has been occupied by the Soviet Infantry Corps. And now the Soviets have forced a draw on this game, unless somehow the brave soldiers of the Luftwaffe Field Division can reclaim the bunker.
Somehow.
I don't break their chances. Elsewhere, this Luftwaffe Field Division unit was able to gun down the 2 tank riders that were there, ending that threat. You might think it's only two infantry. Let me tell you, 2 veterans SMGs versus a bunch of inexperienced guys, that can definitely go the way of the veterans. And then the Luftwaffe, so killing those guys was a dice out the bag and also eliminated a legit threat. We've then had the officer decide that it was time to just get into the fight. He started off over here. He ran back to get help. He sent the help forward. The help died. He ran over here, and under his expert eye and generalship, the Flak 88 has been doing quite well, and he decided he was going to lead the charge. He jumped over the wall, shot 2 Soviets in the face, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Forcing the Soviets down as well, which is even better.
Yeah.
Just every delaying tactic matters now. And then this lone tank rider. Why is it a lone tank? Alex, I thought there was a whole squad of 9 of them there.
Oh, the Flak 88 has got it zeroed, obviously.
The Flak 88 again got a 6 to hit. So even if Alex had gone down, he didn't. But even if Alex had gone down, it wouldn't have mattered, and it obliterated 7 out of 8 of the tank riders, leaving just 1 left. He did manage to pass his morale check, and he also with his reroll, and then he also passed his order test. But unfortunately, he must have still been pretty shaken from all of his comrades just getting obliterated, and even with point blank range, he wasn't able to get any hits onto the German officer, and for his trouble, he ran out of ammo. In fact, I think the majority of Soviet units now have run out of ammo.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
There's quite a few.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, this guy did replenish, so that's not so bad.
He rearmed.
That was his turn. But yeah, the Flak 88 has been by far the MVP of the game. It immobilized an IS-2, then took it out, and then subsequently deleted 2 units of Soviet veteran infantry. So he's done very, very good. I love the Flak 88. It's an absolute beast of a weapon. It's expensive, but it is worth it. He's got 1 more target. There's 1 more blob squad he needs to thin down in turn 9. But before we get there, there's a couple of other bits to mention. These Soviet infantry moved up. These Soviet infantry moved up. The tank, who has consistently done nothing, again did nothing. 4 to hit on this Soviet Union blob. It's second time he's tried to shoot them over the course of the game and just missed. He's got 2 1s. Yeah, they did though take a casualty and a pin from the ambush from this Luftwaffe Field Division unit. So there is just smoke and debris and destruction everywhere. The Soviets are beginning to run out of steam a little bit. They've essentially got 1 They've got one big unit left to try and make a push for the bunker, and it hasn't got any ammo. They've got a few scraplets that might be able to... pardon me. They might be able to do something, but with the fact that there's 7 crew on the Flak 88, assaulting that bunker is a tall order. So it's going to be tricky. Let's see what happens going into turn 9. As we enter into the closing stages of this battle, both sides are running on fumes. A very quick turn in which very little happened. Lots of opportunities for things to happen, but nothing actually happened. So, over here, one Luftwaffe guy died. That was it. And then there was a pin. 2 pins. Now those 2 pins did cause them to fail their leadership check, but basically they didn't do anything and nothing really happened to them. Over here, I failed my 1-pin order check with these guys, which they have failed pretty much every 1-pin order check they've been asked to make. My Flak 88 need to hit on a 2 or a 1. I bigged him up, and then he couldn't handle the pressure. But don't worry, surely the Panzer, which was hitting on a 3, would be able to bring... No, he missed as well. I just need one of those 2 shots to go off, and it would have taken that squad out, or at least taken it down, and that would have made it much harder for you to assault the Flak 88 in the final turn. But you haven't even got a pin on you. No, it's... you haven't even got a pin on you. So that's the crazy thing. But yeah, still, like, no damage. I think like 1 or 2 guys died here. The first failed Tiger Fear check of the day. It was basically nothing. The only thing of note was the crazed Siberian veteran tank rider ran out of the smoke, ran into the officer and bonked him on the head. That was it.
And his friend ran away.
And his friend... No, you bonked him on the head as well.
Him on the head as well.
You just took both out. Yeah, with Tough Fighter.
Tough Spade Fighter.
Tough Spade Fighter. So that is the final... That is turn 9. Very, very quick turn. A bit disappointing in the Flak 8, but he's done a very good job at this point. So as salty as I'm feeling about it, I can't really complain. After all, this is literally the Luftwaffe Field Division. So, turn 10 is coming up. Potentially last turn of the game. The Soviets right now have a draw, and they are in a position to win it. To win the game, they need to take that bunker. It's not an easy fight for them, because there are 7 crew on the Flak 88, which makes it quite the beast.
Quite the party.
Yeah. Because you've got like 8 guys here, and I've got 7 guys. No one's got any Tough Fighter.
No.
So it's
pretty rough.
It's pretty rough. First dice, Alex has got a huge dice advantage over me now. I only have 4 dice left in the bag. Alex still has 9. So for me, I really just need I need a bit of luck. I need the first turn. I need the first dice in my Flak 88 to flatten them. And if I do that, I'm pretty confident.
Yeah.
If I don't do that, I think Alex's bayonet boys go in there, and that could decide the game.
Yeah.
Let's, you know what, Alex? Let's just do that. Let's pick our dice up.
Okay.
This is the thing that could decide the fate of the game.
Okay.
So I've got just 4 dice in the bag now.
Yep. So I've got these over here.
Okay.
Yeah, 3. Yeah, 9 dice for me.
I shall have my fate in my hand.
Okay. Okay, good luck.
Thoroughly rattled?
Yeah. I'm satisfied the rattling is sufficient. Go on.
No! Are you going for it?
Yeah. It's time. Fix bayonet.
Fix bayonets. He's going in. I can't overwatch for anyone that's wondering, or reaction fire, if you want to call it, simply because he's within 6 inches.
Yep, so they
can't do it.
I'll just shuffle them over. We sort of know what's happening.
So there's 8 attacks from your end.
And 7 from you.
7 from me.
There we are.
Come on, big flak man. As the attacker, I'm going to let you roll first.
Okay, so I've got 8. So there's 5, 6, 7.
This basically
8.
decides the game.
Yeah, pretty much. So they're regulars, right?
Yeah.
4s. Oh, it's pretty bad.
3.
Only 3. Okay. Only 3. You need to...
Come on, lads. Come on. Yes, they held it. They held it. Die, Soviet dogs, die. The Flak 88, what it cannot do in shooting, it will achieve in glorious close combat. And I have lost a few of my crew as well. That was so the game is still on, Alex.
It's still on.
The game is still on. Okay. Let's do this one turn on camera, because I think pretty much this is gonna decide it.
Chuck that out there.
Chuck that out there.
Go. Right.
Yeah, they have ammo now. They've got ammo in heaven. All right.
Ammo in heaven.
What is it? Place it in my hand.
It's mine.
It's a green dice.
It's a green.
You may have that dice back now.
It's gotta be the Spade Man.
Oh no, Spade Man! He's still. Oh my god, I'm literally fending off multiple assaults.
There we go.
He's going in. He's charging in.
He charges in. He doesn't need ammo where he's going.
So
what have you got? 4 guys left?
4 guys left.
Right, so you're probably going to... Right, I'm attacking, so I should probably go first. So I need a 4 up on the...
4 up.
Spade, go!
Oh, he's not done it!
Oh no, he's dead. He's so dead.
He's got us! Yes!
Oh,
holding off multiple waves, well, wave-ish, of Soviet attackers. Oh yes! The Flak 88! Do you know why they didn't hit last time? Because they were preparing. They were putting bayonets on, fixing brass knuckles. They knew what was coming.
Yeah.
Why did I lose faith in the Flak 88, Alex? It's not let me down up until this point. It's not let me down.
There we are. Another dice in the dead pile.
Yes, that Flak 88 is single-handedly given me the dice kill advantage.
Yeah. It's one of mine.
Is there anything else? Who is next? Who is the next challenger?
I'm going to throw my toys out the pram and just fire the IS-2 is going to fire at you.
Okay,
I should have done this first, but
No. Because if I'd got the first dice, I would have flattened them. You've absolutely done the right thing.
I mean, I probably should have tried to flatten them before sending the 1 man in, but it's fine.
It's fine. Spade Man had to do it. Spade Man.
Medium machine gun, heavy machine gun into the field division guys.
They're going to take it.
And then the
big gun hitting
gun firing.
Hit on 3.
Yeah, hit on 3.
Okay. What are you shooting first?
I'll do the machine guns first.
Okay, it's warming up.
So,
take tracer fire.
So it's going to be just 4s. It's just light cover. So
long range light cover 5s.
So 5s to hit on the medium.
No. Alex's dice have gone camera shy.
The mighty
Dushka.
The mighty Dushka.
2 hits. That's exactly the same as happened last time.
And then 2s to kill.
Yeah.
2 die.
2s to kill. Good for those you.
Pick?
Ooh.
I don't get to pick.
Okay.
Your choice.
2 riflemen, naturally, sir.
And a pin.
And there you go.
Right, 3s to hit the.
Hit the flak bunker.
3s to hit the flak. Oh no! It needs to be in the tray.
In the tray.
Come on, it's a
hit. So 2d6.
Right, I need basically a double 6 to flatten the bunker. Come on.
No. Okay. That's the first time you've not rolled a 6 on one of those dice.
Yeah.
Are you out of ammo?
I've got to roll for the pins on it, haven't I?
Oh, pins first.
D3. 3
the big 3. That's pretty. That might mean that my thing doesn't do any damage, but it's done what it needed to do.
And do I run out of ammo?
No. Okay.
They gave it more than like 2 shells when they last had to reload it.
Yeah, exactly.
Something. Okay.
Next dice.
Come on, and it is one of yours finally. There's not much left.
Yeah, man.
Not too much to go with.
No, I mean my final thing that I could go with is my tank.
Yeah.
And he could just pop around into here, and you're not in the crater eye, so that would just be a 3. Would you agree, or what do you want to? We say a 4 if you want.
Yeah. I reckon
if I get a 3 now, I'm gonna throw my toys out the pram.
All right.
Because I think realistically, they're not got any ammo, and I don't think they're in assault range.
No, they won't be. So if the game goes on for 1 more turn, basically, because this turn I'm hopefully move them up to here, and then basically do the same again if it
do
goes
the same again. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we'll go with my tank. He'll go with the fire order because they could do the same thing, couldn't they?
Yeah.
Hitting on a 4.
No.
And he's not there. I mean, I literally did not expect him to do anything.
Okay, next die. It's one of mine, so I'm going to advance these guys, shoot at them, but I've got to do a Tiger Fear check.
You do have to do a Tiger Fear check because my Panzer 4 is...
They passed
just.
9 just.
Yes.
Because they're veterans, and like I say, move towards these guys.
It's ironic, Carl, the final tank riders are the ones that were the first ones to get absolutely leathered by...
Yeah. Where's the thing? Right.
So I'll go down against this because I want to have a goddamn chance.
Okay, there we are.
Otherwise, you'll be hit on 3s, so now hit on 5s.
Yeah, now I'm hitting on 5s. So that is 8 shots.
Yeah.
So 5s to hit you. It's
3 hits, grim.
That's not bad. That's pretty. Well, it's pretty much average, isn't it?
Yeah.
Come on, and then 3s because they're just a bunch of mechanics.
2.
Do I get to pick this guy? No.
No.
So 2 die and a pin.
So we'll take the we'll take him and the sergeant, and then the sergeant will try and blitzkrieg training, which he does. So now the loader becomes the sergeant, and the LMG gets to fire with no problems, and they don't lose their pinning stuff.
So
but up to 3 pins.
And they'll have to take.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? They don't have the mass one for not having an NCO for passing
I
orders.
see,
Yeah.
So they'll need to do a morale check though, because I've killed.
You
half
kill
the unit.
more than half. You have to kill more than half, don't you, to force?
No, it's if you kill half, so it's like
half or more.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure it's half.
I think it was more than half in one shot.
Because if an officer.
Because it does matter.
Because if an officer loses his extra mag.
Oh yeah, no, you are right.
Yeah.
So they've gone anyway.
Yeah, those poor boys.
Oh no, you've equaled me on dice. I've only got 3 left.
So, do they run out of ammo? No.
No. Okay.
Okay, so let's keep this rolling. It's one of mine. Okay, so what do we got that is... so I'm gonna... The squad that's in the bunker are going to do the same as last time. They're going to fire their...
I'll just go. To be honest, my last dice is going to be down here, and I'll rally there. But we need to obviously get it in the right order for shooting. Yeah. But I'll go down here because...
it makes me hitting you on 4s instead of 2s, basically. Yeah. So, oops. So there you go.
There's only an LMG and a... No, it's fine. Yeah, I'll go down. I'll go down.
Like I said, it's the same. So it'll be 5 shots hitting you on 4s because you're hugging the dirt.
Yeah.
That is 1 hit on the 5. No,
2
it's
hits.
4s, isn't it? 2 hits. And then it'll be... So that's another pin on them at least. And then 3s to kill. 1 guy dies.
Girl,
do I get to pick? No. Is the unit out of ammo? No.
Okay.
So
pin and man dead. There you go. All right, so keep going.
Mine. Okay. What else have I got here? I guess. Right. So my officer, who's over there, is just going to move up as close as he can to the barricade and just like blast at those guys.
Do you want to charge them?
I'm not going to charge them because we're fighting at the same time and you'll probably kill them. They are veterans. These guys are veterans. I'm just going to run up pretty close and just blast them.
Okay, fair.
Because I feel like if it comes to it, then we go on. I mean, it's probably unlikely because they're not very close, but where's the advance? Come on.
I think it's going to come down literally to the flak 88 holding against a 3-man charge.
Yeah.
If there is another turn, that is.
Yeah, so this is going to be... So you're down, heavy cover, so it's... But then point blank. So it's going to be just 6s instead of double 6s.
Yeah.
So do I hit?
No.
No. Do they run out? Does the officer run out of ammo? Yes, he does. The officer.
Shameful display. Have you got a little token for him?
A little ammo token. Or out of ammo token. There we go.
Cool.
Let's keep going. Your dice.
I'm going to rally.
Okay, on the...
Flak 88.
88.
Yes.
Cool. D6 plus 1.
Yes.
Nice. Gets them all off. Very good. And the last is my 3 dice. So it's basically this thing trying to run, but it's got a...
Tiger Fear.
Tiger Fear, which it passes, and then just 6. I mean, it's pretty inconsequential because it's not going to get anywhere, but for the sake of completeness, they'll just go for a little run. Yeah, what else?
These guys.
Those guys, yeah. I mean,
and then there's a guy in the bunker back there who, again, you can just not worry about.
Yeah, he's going to go down. The guys here, they're going to attempt to advance.
Okay.
Or run or whatever.
Yeah, so they lose their pin and they go 6 inches forwards.
Yep.
And they're out of ammo, so they can't shoot me.
They can't shoot you.
But they can get pretty bloody close.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
So, that is the end of turn 10. That is the end of the game, possibly.
Yeah. Possibly.
On a 1 to 3, the game ends.
Go on then.
On a 4, 5, 6, we have one more turn, and there's literally only one thing that matters in that entire turn.
Go on.
That's it.
The line has ended.
Good game, sir. Very, very good game. And the game, after 10 turns and about 6 or 7 hours of us playing it, ends in a draw. Oh my days. Now that was a really, really, really fun game. I mean, I'm glad that we got that sort of last turn on camera. Wow, Alex, how do you feel after that?
It's a bit like a bolt action equivalent of an apocalypse game, isn't it? That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Sort of way. The amount of models on the table, at least from my end.
How did you? We'll go straight to some final thoughts. First question: who's your MVP, if you have one?
Oh, I think the MVP has to be Single Spade Man.
Single Spade Man.
It has to be. I'm trying to. I'm not. Yeah, I think the IS2 that survived did pretty good.
He did do pretty well.
He did. The fact he whittled down this squad over here, and he put a handful of pins on the 88.
I quite like these guys.
Yeah, they were pretty good. The guards.
They did get you the draw.
Yeah.
By just consistently passing their 1-pin order checks.
Yeah, I think to be fair, like based on that, they can
be your MVP.
Yeah,
and he'll be your hero. Because
Yeah.
I have 2 rewards in the game. MVP is who was your most valuable unit, and the hero doesn't necessarily win anything, but did something awesome. Win or lose, did something awesome. For me, the MVP of the game has to be the Flak 88.
Yeah.
Just no doubt, single-handedly stopped me from losing the game.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think it has to be the hero of the game as well. I think it needs double commendations because not only did it basically just stop dead a Soviet tank assault, but also held off multiple waves of Soviet infantry as well, including in close combat. So yeah, definitely that was the MVP. How did you feel the game went sort of, not necessarily like turn by turn, but like start, middle, and end? Did you feel like at any point you definitely didn't have a chance? When did you feel like it might have turned? All that kind of stuff.
I think the Dawn Assault rules lasting for that extra turn, because it's guaranteed you get it turn 1 night fight, and it's almost guaranteed you're going to get it turn 2.
Yeah.
But it was pretty clutch that it was nighttime turn 3, and I think turn 4 was
Yeah.
night fighting as well.
Yeah.
Because that 88, the 88, even it did so much, but it didn't really do anything for the first 3 turns of the game because of the night fighting rules. I think if
Do you think if it had lifted a turn earlier, it would have done more?
Yeah, definitely. Because
Okay.
you would have been drawing. You would have been able to just start picking off my tanks like a turn or 2 earlier. I really like the balancing factor. Even though I had double the points you had, you've got prepared defenses. I was slower moving across the field, and also the rolling to check for ammo and for fuel for the tanks. I think I thought it wasn't going to balance it that much, but I feel like it did actually.
Oh, definitely.
It did actually really throw a spanner in the works.
Even though you had 3 tanks, it kind of felt like at any one point only maybe 1.5 of them were operating.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was like, oh, there's 3 IS2s. Oh, only one's done something.
Yeah.
Had the opportunity to do something as well. Yeah, the ammo thing. I think that the double points was perfect. I think the triple points would have just been stupid.
So say if I was just going to pluck 1,000 points extra out of the air, what I would have chosen to take. Things I've got enough infantry. Maybe I could have done with another squad or 2. I could have taken another 2 squads, and then I could have taken imagine if I'd taken an extra couple Katyushas or something like that.
If you take a one Katyusha, one Katyusha here would have just. That's it. I'm done. Absolutely. I mean, and to be fair, that is what happened to the Germans. The Soviets just Katyusha the shit out of them.
Yeah.
And then they all died. And the Seelow Heights, which was meant to be an unbreakable defence line, got broken in a weekend, essentially.
Yeah.
Might have been a few more days than that. But you know what I mean? It wasn't this, we're going to stop them dead here for months. It was one battle over in a few days.
I'll say something that was a bit disappointing. It's a shame the minefields didn't really do much. But then again, they don't cover that much of an area, and I could just go around them. But you did funnel me a little bit, I suppose.
I think my minefield placement was I kind of did it a little bit more narratively. I sort of, me and Alex were like, right, well, we'll sort of have them sort of half hidden for the sort of the viewer's sake, but we sort of randomly determined where we were like, we'll have 1 anti-personnel, 1 anti-tank, and we'll put them in the middle of each table quarter so that they're not unmarked, but they are marked, but they can sort of be revealed as an exciting bit halfway through. And just to make that more balanced so that I couldn't just reveal them when in the worst possible place for Alex, which would have been not fair and a bit cheesy, we just put them in the middle of each table quarter. Now, with the benefit of hindsight, I think if I was to be try hard in this friendly narrative game. What I would have done is not marked my minefields because I had the choice to do that. Even though it is breaking the Geneva Convention, I do have the choice to do that. And I would have gone for basically 2 anti-personnel minefields because your tanks really... your tanks were dangerous, but I felt like... This obviously with the benefit of hindsight. They weren't so bad. Like the Flak 88 was definitely intimidating and keeping them back. But I just put 2 anti-personnel fields and I put 1 in front of each bunker. And you come flying up here. I don't mark them. And then suddenly I go, Alex, reveal my piece of paper. Minefield there. And everyone, all those final assaults. That bunker doesn't get lost. And all of those final assaults just end up in you just exploding. Because it's really... Like minefields are really, really nasty. If you... I think it's each model that goes over the minefield, you roll a dice for it on a 4+. It takes, if it's an anti-personnel minefield, it's a pen +3 hit. So even better. So on 2+, you roll a dice for each model on a 4+. On a 2+, then that model dies, even if it's veteran. It's like, it's grim. But yeah, no, I think at the midpoint, I had a false sense of security. I felt like I hadn't fully appreciated it was a 10 to 11 turn game. And so when it took you like 4 turns to clear the front line, I was like, I'm Gucci, man, I'm good. Like, it's never going to get up here. And then it was just the fact that, well, there's a 20-inch gap here. So it's like a 4-inch, it's 3 turns then a charge. So it was like, hang on, I actually haven't got very much volume of fire here. If the Flak 88 hadn't done its job, it would have been a massacre for me. And so basically, I spent the whole game shitting myself over the tanks, only to find out that the infantry horde that I now didn't have any anti-infantry to deal with just ran up and just splattered me in the face. Again, if I was to maybe mix things up, I might have the Grenadiers back here and just accept that first bunker's going to die, and just have my Luftwaffe field division there, and just have it just going down. Have the tank technically start there, and then just drive backwards the first 2 games. Do what the officer did. Just drive backwards, just lancing rounds into the Soviets as they advance, and then basically kind of cheese it where I sacrifice 3 units on the front there, but then have 7 units on the back line. But I didn't want to do that because it didn't feel right. It felt much cooler having like the front line units are going to defend the front line, and the second line units are going to defend the second line. And they're going to hold till the last man, and then these guys are going to hold till the last man. And but yeah, there was definitely ways with a bit of more clever minefield placement, and maybe do more of a fighting retreat. Because I should have taken advantage of like my speed. The fact that I can run 12 inches and you can only go like 6. And basically just fuck off backwards. You shoot over the hard cover the entire time, and basically just have like 7 to 10 units here. But there you go. Yeah, I definitely felt confident in the first half of the game. Second, from turn 6 onwards, I was like, I'm in deep doggy doo-doo here.
What did you think of the night? So this is the first time I think you've played bolt action with the night fighting rules. I think it's like my second game.
I loved it.
Playing with the night fighting rules. I
loved it. Really, night fighting is one of the things that my gut instinct, as a boring 40k player, my gut instinct is like, no, nothing fun and creative. But then actually I have to turn that part of my brain off and be like, trust Warlord, they've written a half decent rule set. Let's let it ride. Let it ride. And I found that the night fighting rules added so much to the game.
Well, there was a point where I was like, I'm not going to bother even going to try and shoot with my IS-2s because I know I probably won't hit anything, right? But I really don't want you to be able to see me. So I lined up my IS-2s, had that turn of getting the tank riders on, getting them ready to push. And then the sun rose and it was just like, forwards!
My favourite moment of the game had to be this moment. When the IS-2 went for a thunder run and it just got detracked. The guys spilled off it. And then you can imagine like the tank rider's like, what the hell was that? And as they turn around, they look at the IS-2. Hypervelocity rounders goes through the front, out the back, pops the turret. And it's just like, oh my, Flak 88! Ground high velocity rounds! It just getting my fury on there. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, Alex. And I just want to say thank you for coming down, for bringing the rulebook, providing a lot of terrain for today. All these forests and craters are Alex's, and it was fantastic to see a proper big Soviet army on the table. Three IS-2s. That's
something.
That's something. That's something. And you know what, viewers? I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. We had an absolute blast, and I hope that came across in the video. If you did enjoy this battle report, then please go ahead and smash that like button. And of course, subscribe to never miss an episode. And let us know what you thought down in the comment section. If you've got any other scenario games or theatre games that you want us to try out, if you're particularly familiar with a particular campaign book, then please let us know, and we'll do our best to do some sort of battle reports around it. But I just want to say, before we wrap up the battle report, I want to say a massive thank you to all of the people that go the extra mile, to all of the channel members, to all the Patreon supporters. Without these guys, we just couldn't do this. We couldn't play multiple game systems like bolt action. We couldn't try out these wacky, crazy things. And so I want to say a massive thank you to all of the Patreon supporters and the channel members. You guys are the lifeblood of this channel. And if you do like what we do here and you want to support and help us create more content, then please consider joining the channel. But that's all for now. Thank you for watching. And of course, as always, see you guys next time.